Award-winning author Salman Rushdie calls his new memoir a reckoning. In 2022, he was stabbed in the neck and the abdomen more than a dozen times in Western New York. The alleged assailant was charged with attempted murder and assault and has pleaded not guilty. Now, this is not the first time that Rushdie was targeted because of his work. In the 1980s, Rushdie spent a decade in hiding after Iran's leader issued a fatwa calling for his death because of a book that he had written. Now, some Muslims consider his work blasphemous. His new memoir is titled, I love this title, Knife. Especially when you hear the story, you'll really understand it. Meditations after an attempted murder. He writes about the 2022 attack, which included losing sight in his right eye. Salman Rushdie and his wife, poet and author Rachel Eliza Griffiths, with the dazzling smile, as she's described in the book, join us for their first joint live interview. We welcome you both.
Hello.
Welcome
for
you
having
both.
us.
So I want to say to the audience, when Salman sat down, I said, so it's Salman Rushdie, right? He goes, it's Salman, but you can say whatever you want. I go, no, I want to say your name correctly. Salman.
Salman.
Yes, we are very glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, you write in the book about your son, Milan, because the family, of course, had to process this. And he said, Dad, some people get stabbed one time and they don't survive. You were stabbed 14, 15 times and you survived in very key places on your body. How do you describe this? How can you explain why you're sitting here?
Well, what I said to him, my son, is that the fictional character with whom I most identify now is Wolverine from the X-Men, who regenerates.
Yes.
I think I must have some of that in me.
But you write in that moment, Salman, that, you know, you saw it, you're speaking, and you see this man approaching.
Yes.
And you say, why didn't I fight? Why didn't I run? Why didn't I do something? And at times you even blamed yourself.
Yeah, I felt kind of pathetic, you know, but actually the truth is, it happened very, very quickly.
Yes.
I mean, he came running at me. He's 24, I was 75.
Yeah.
He had a knife, I had a microphone.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, so there wasn't really, truthfully, a lot I could have done, but I just felt, in retrospect, thinking of myself just standing there while he just had his way with me, you know, I felt foolish, you know, I thought maybe I could have just hit him.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that characterization, that it took 27 seconds.
Yeah.
And you also write that a knife is a very intimate experience as opposed to a
close
gun.
up.
Because he has to get close up to you.
Yeah, he was right here, you know.
And you write in the book about different descriptions of a knife and why you decided to call it knife.
Yeah, because I thought it's two reasons, really. One is, of course, it's about a knife attack, so...
Yeah, we get that part, yeah.
And the other is that I thought, in a way, the book is my knife, you know. The book is my way of fighting back. And
Fighting back with your pen, your words?
With my pen and with my imagination and with my whatever intelligence I have, you know, to try and deal with it. You know? And I thought it's a way of taking control of the narrative, you know, and not being just a victim, but being a maker of a book.
Well, you write that very key and very crucial to your healing was Eliza.
Absolutely.
Rachel Eliza, as you both discovered that you both use your middle names. Eliza's your middle name, Salman is his middle name. He describes you as a woman with a dazzling smile, and I'm fascinated by your relationship. Number one, you meet at an event, and he walks through a glass door.
Yeah. Yes, he does.
That's a way to make an impression on somebody.
I was somewhat distracted by her.
He had my attention.
He walks through a glass door.
Well, I didn't go through it, I just banged into it.
Yes, I mean, so you go to his aid,
yes.
and there is a bond between the two of you.
Yes.
Yeah, and we've kind of been together ever since I smashed into the door. So good move.
But what was it about him? You knew who he was.
I knew who he was, and we were at this event, and I don't know, we looked across the room and there was just this kind of recognition between us. And I, you know, the glass door got my attention, but we could just talk and laugh for hours. And I just thought,
he's funny?
He's hysterically funny, especially in the morning when I'm not. And I thought, I want to laugh with him forever.
No,
so.
you two had been together for 5 years, 11 months, and three days, but who's counting? Before it was publicly revealed that the two of you were a couple.
Yeah.
And your dad asked you, Eliza, why did you fall in love with him? What was because when you look at you two, people could say you're an unlikely duo. There's an age difference, there's a race difference. You look at you, people wouldn't think, oh, I see those two together. Your dad, you agree with that, Salman?
Yeah, I told you, I said, me and anybody is an odd couple.
No, that's not necessarily true. But your dad asked you how, why, and what did you say?
Well, I think with my dad and I, we have such a beautiful relationship. So when it was time for me to kind of bring Salman home to meet my dad, he was like, well, this is a special person. And we had writing in common.
Yes.
Imagination, art. And so he's like, you actually have things in common. So this is going to work. And so, I mean, he's very wise, my dad, and everyone in my family. It's like Salman is a huge part of our family. We love him.
Yeah, clearly. I want people to understand, though, what you went through, because we read, people could say, yeah, I remember about that attack and it was horrible. But I want people to know how grueling this was, what your recovery was like.
Yeah.
You've named your doctors, Dr. Payne, Dr. Tongue, Dr. Liver, Dr. Knife. I mean, talk us through what your recovery was like.
Well, it was several months.
Yes, yes.
And initially, there was no guarantee that I would live.
No, doctors told you later they didn't think you were going to live.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Fortunately, they were wrong. But I mean, they did an amazing job up in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is where the trauma hospital was. And
well, in that moment, you thought you were dying too, did you not?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, while I was conscious, I did, and then afterwards there was 8 hours of surgery.
But what did that feel like to think that you were dying? What did that feel like?
Well, I mean, it felt two things. First of all, it felt, oh yeah, this is what's happening, in a kind of completely ordinary way, but then what it really felt was lonely, because I thought, I'm dying far away from everybody I love, and in the company of strangers. That felt sad.
Yeah.
That felt sad. But I also had this little voice in my head going, live.
Live.
And I do think that we have a survival instinct in us that's very, very powerful, and that comes out when we're in danger, And I heard that little instinct in my head saying, live.
Live. Now, Eliza, you get the news. You rush to his side. You don't know if he's going to be alive by the time you get there. What are you told?
I was told that he wasn't going to make it, and I had to get there as soon as possible. And so I was in New York having a normal morning, and a friend called crying, and I just thought, I have to get there. Wherever he is, I need to get there. And so people were trying to find helicopters for me, and we have a car, and then our agents were like, you need a plane, Eliza. And I was like, let's get it.
Yeah, because you guys are saying we're not plane people. Yes, let's just get a plane and go.
No, we're definitely not
but
plane
when something
people.
like this happens, you do whatever it takes to get there.
You don't count the cost.
Yes,
No.
you do not count the cost.
No.
And the person who did this horrible thing to you, he was 24, you said. He had only read 2 pages of your writings and only seen maybe a couple of videos.
I know.
Yet he had such hatred for you.
It's a kind of mystery, because he's a guy who had no previous criminal record.
Yes.
And to go from that to murder, that's a big jump. And on the basis of so little, it feels like there's a kind of empty space there that I want to, which is why I tried to imagine myself into his head, to try and imagine what he might have been thinking.
You write in the book of if you had had a conversation with him, and Eliza, at one point, Salman wanted to meet with him. He wanted to meet with him.
Yeah, she wasn't in favor.
Yeah, and you were not in favor.
Absolutely not.
Why not?
I think that's giving power and agency to something where I'm someone who tends to focus on healing and having a certain kind of, where I'm going to place my power and my focus. And I wanted to focus on healing and going forward. I think I understand Salman's need to go, both of our needs to kind of go back to these spaces and reclaim them.
Yeah, but some would say that maybe that was healing for him. That's why I was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If I was your wife, I wouldn't have wanted that either. But
No.
you did. Both of you did go back to the scene where it
Yes.
happened.
Yes.
Why was that important?
That
for
was
you?
just something I knew quite early on after I was kind of basically recovered. I thought at some point I have to go and show myself that I'm standing up
Yes.
and okay
Yeah.
in the place where I fell down and almost died.
Yeah.
I just knew that it would be important for me to do that.
And now.
And when he was there, and we went there, and I'd never been there, but it was in my dreams and my nightmares, this place. And it was such a peaceful, gorgeous place with really good people. And Salman and I just hugged standing on this stage that I have only seen in these awful clips where there's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
And I literally saw like his face, this light came into his face and his eye, and he was looking at me, and I thought, I understand now.
It's like turning a page.
It really felt to me physically like somebody removed a weight from me.
Yes.
Yeah, you write about it beautifully. And now he's going to go on trial. I know, I love the affection between the two
Yeah,
of you.
well, there is
the
a bit.
connection is very deep.
Yes,
He's
it
going
is.
to go on trial. He rejected a plea deal, much to everyone's surprise. You were going to have to testify against
believe
him.
so, yes.
How are you processing, how are you feeling about that,
I'm okay
facing him
about
in
it,
court?
I'm okay. I have no problem being in the courtroom looking at him. You know, he should have a problem looking at me. And if they want me to testify, I will. I'm not going to say anything I haven't said in this book.
Yeah.
So it's all on the record already in the book.
And now you're walking around, you live here in New York, you feel safe, you're clearly welcomed here, both of you?
I think New York is home,
Yeah.
And home is a place where you feel safe.
Eliza, you feel safe?
I don't always feel so safe anymore. Truthfully, things have changed, and I think with Salman's past, he has some muscle memory that I don't have. So
Yeah.
my world has really changed, and there are a lot of new things for me to navigate and to manage and to internalize, and so I'm working on that.
Well, the two of you are working together. You're a writer, too, and an author, and you always say it's hard to be two writers together unless you love each other's work, and they do.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you both. Congratulations. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you
Really
very
lovely
much.
to meet you. The name of the book is Knife. It's on sale today, wherever you like to buy your books. It's a very, very compelling story.